Hi, Jesse.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Nice.
Me and my husband are big fans.
Thank you.
I just wanted to kind of shed some light and share with you and others my experience as a child. My mother was actually a coyote, and she would use me and my siblings' birth certificates to help basically smuggle other children from Mexico into the U.S.
Wow.
And,
That's amazing.
I even would, because I was young, I would even have to go with her. And I remember those nights. They were long, they were cold, because you're basically going through the middle of the desert. And there was one time, it's in the summer, I had flip-flops on and no jacket and going through the desert in the back of a truck, and completely dark. The only light there was the moon. And we were bringing in, I remember her, bringing a little boy over, and my brother was the same age, so it was kind of easy for her to just use his information basically and claim that that little boy was her son.
That's
And
mind-blowing.
people think that, it's literally just ripping children apart. Like, they have no idea. They've never seen, they've never experienced what it's like to actually be there and see what happens to these children, to women. I mean, it's an ugly feeling, and having to go through it, and forcefully, of course, because I was young and I didn't know. I just followed her at the time.
Why didn't your father stop her from doing that with you?
Well, I don't know my father. I've never known my biological father. I grew up with my grandmother, and my grandmother took care of me. My mother had me at the age of 14, and my grandmother's from Mexico, and all my mother ever did was hang around with people from Mexico. So she had connections, and she, eventually I went to go back and live with my grandmother, and I got away from all of that. It's a completely different environment that people don't realize it. And they just think that, Trump's the bad guy. He's separating the kids. Like, no, if they really aren't those people's kids. Like, their parents are somewhere else. Either they're already on this side of the border, or they're still in Mexico. And they're getting paid. They're getting paid. My mother would get paid. And
amazing. And so what would happen with the parents that would send their children across the borders? I mean, they don't, what do they, are they concerned about what would happen with their children going away like that into another country illegally? And what will happen with the children? I mean, what will happen with the parents?
Well, the parents would stay so the parents are either in Mexico or on this side of the border. The children, they'd either stay with family or other people who were close to the family.
Oh, I see.
And would help raise them. They don't, or a friend, basically. A friend would help raise them until they're of age and they can go work. And usually, if they're old enough, they'll work in restaurants or they'll work in construction.
That's mind-blowing. And so, as an adult, have you spoken to your mother about working in that way, doing that?
I never brought it up, but it's been years since, a couple of years now since me and my husband, we stopped associating ourselves with her.
Okay.
She was really toxic, and I had forgiven her many years ago for everything that she put me through.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
It was just, time to kind of cut that off finally.
And so, what's your impression of what Joe Biden and this administration are doing now? Is by allowing these people to just come in and repeat this thing over again. They're starting it again in a massive way. What's your opinion about that? How do you see that?
It's dangerous. It's so dangerous. The people that are coming over, and depending on what type of environment that they are already in, when like say for instance the children, if they grow up, or the people that they're with, I remember one of the moms that was hiring my mom to bring kids over, she had locked me in a closet. And because my mom decided to go in somewhere else. It was a cold closet and no carpet, no blanket, and it was just, that's how it was. And these people are not nice, and, you know, they're willing to do whatever it takes to survive, basically.
Amazing.
And so when you bring those kind of people over here, and illegally they don't belong here,
yeah,
it'll make this country worse. I remember, you know, when I was younger, babysitters, for instance, you know, if they're from Mexico and they're not legal, you know, there was always something going on in the house, and it wasn't right. It wasn't. People don't realize how bad it is to have someone here illegally.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's just, you don't know if they're willing to do that. You have no idea what else they're capable of.
Amazing. How old were you when they locked you away in the closet?
I was 15.
And for how long did you have to stay there?
It was overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had my younger brother with me at the time. And I remember I had found a little towel, like a hand towel, basically, kitchen towel. So I had used that to help cover him, to keep him warm because of how cold it was.
And how old was he at the time?
He was maybe first grade.
What a mess. And so were you you were in Mexico when this happened, or in the United States?
The United States.
What a mess.
Yeah. So people really have no idea. And it's funny because the people who are saying these things that, they shouldn't be separating those children, they've either never been to the border, they've never experienced those type of people that do smuggle them, which is very common. You go to the major Mexican communities, you're bound to run into someone who is illegal, who has gone through that. It's just, people don't know, and they're just talking a bunch of mess.
Yeah, I believe that.
You know.
What a mess. So you're over all the trauma that you went through, am I right? You're over that now?
There's still some. I'm working on mostly my anger. Like I've forgiven my mother and my grandmother. I think mostly for me, it's just, wanting to seek. You talk about fathers, and for me, I've been trying to look for my biological father for quite some time. I've had no luck. I've had, to the point where a couple of years ago I had gone back to my mother to ask her for information. She couldn't tell me. She doesn't know. So
she doesn't know any of his family members or anyone?
No.
What a mess.
And so it's just kind of that void, that's kind of that hole that's been there. Like, I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's at. I've tried looking, especially like Ancestry.com and through the DNA and everything, and still no luck. I just, because for me, I want to be able to serve my husband and be there for him and love him the way I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And love God. I feel like, man, I'm supposed to love my father, and I have no idea what it's like to love my father. So therefore, I feel like I don't know what it's like to love my husband, and that makes me feel like crap.
Yeah, I understand that. Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Listen, do this. Are you doing my silent prayer video?
I'm working on it. I do it a couple times a week, but I'm working on it and getting an actual, routine of it.
Yeah, do it morning and night, and eventually you won't need the video. Just be able to just do it. And God understands. He knows that you can't find your father, and you want to find him, and He will fulfill that void, and His love will work through you, and you will love your husband the way that He loved you. So He understands that He knows that you want to forgive your father. You want to know who he is. But if you can't find him, you can't find him. Do the silent prayer, and God will work it out within you. He'll work it out for you.
Okay.
He'll fulfill that void.
All righty. Well, yeah, I just wanted to share my experience.
Well, an amazing call, Bianca. Amazing call.
Yeah.
Call me again, and I really wish you well, and I appreciate this call. It's amazing.
Yeah, of course. Anytime, and I'll call back soon.
Okay, God bless you, all right?
All right, you too.
Okay. Amazing, folks. It's good versus evil, right versus wrong. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.